Welcome, everybody, to Education Reclaimed, a podcast for teachers looking to reclaim their passion in education. Presented by the amazing people at Live Bearded. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to another fun-filled episode of Education Reclaimed, a podcast for teachers looking to reclaim their passion for education. I'm Brett Colley.
And I'm Chad Pettit.
And with us today, oh boy, ladies and gentlemen, we've got one for you. And as Chad said earlier before we started, we're bringing the fire today, ladies and gentlemen.
Put your seatbelts on, folks.
Make sure your tray tables are in their upright and locked position because it's about ready to get real. I want to introduce to you someone off of TikTok. She's outstanding. She doesn't pull any punches. Her content is pure and just gets right to the point. Let's give it up for Miss Jessie Mills. Welcome, Jessie.
Welcome. Thank you. Thank you guys for having me on here. I really do appreciate it. It's wonderful to meet you guys. I follow you both. I really enjoy your content. Honestly, your content has gotten me through the dark sides of the hallway, as I call it, many a day. So I just want to thank you guys for just creating a space that's safe for teachers to just kind of be. It's almost like we have this Herculean kind of complex that people put on us where we're not human. It's almost like you see us in a grocery store. You're not at school. Like you eat like normal people. Yeah. So thank you guys so much for just allowing us to literally let our hair down, let our beards out, and just take a breath and feel comfortable in knowing that we're not struggling by ourselves. Our struggle might not be the same, but we in this sucker together, so thank y'all for that.
Yeah, absolutely. And we thank you for being your just honest self on TikTok, because that was my whole thing. People, wonder how'd you get where you are? I'm just telling my story.
Right. I'm
just being myself. And it happens to resonate with all these teachers. And you're getting on there and you're speaking to our angry side. I'm Jekyll, you're Hyde,
Okay, hello.
And I'm Igor over in the corner.
So we really appreciate you, and when we started talking about guests to have on the show, it was like we've got to have Jessie on the show because she like Brett said, just does not pull punches.
Well, thank y'all. I appreciate it. Oh, you're about to make me blush. Thank you. I appreciate that.
Things first, Jessie, we need to know how you got into teaching. What's your background? How'd you start into the education world?
So I've always been bossy. And the funny thing is, I often tell people when they ask me this, some families have families of ministers, some families have families of police officers and law enforcement, some families have families of mobsters, but what is the mob? My family is a family of teachers. My grandmother was a teacher for 36 years. My mother was a teacher for 30 plus years. My uncle was a professor of journalism at UNC Chapel Hill.
Wow.
My aunt was a teacher. So it's in my blood. It's almost like, for example, my mother's sister became a lawyer, and a very good one, but it was kind of like, so that's what you chose to do? You had all of these educators in your family, and law is what you wanted? Oh, okay. Well, we're going to discuss pedagogy now, so you go over there. So it was, and so if you're not a teacher, if you don't have a teacher terror story, you're kind of like so that's what you do type of thing. So I've always been around education. I've always been in love with learning. It doesn't matter what it is. I've just always been fascinated by what the mind can absorb, what the mind can take in, how people process that information. The mind has always kind of amazed me, whether it's athletics, watching how the mind can make the body do certain things, because I was an athlete for a long time, national champion back in the day. But just taking in new information, taking in new things. And then, that thing that they talk about in college and teacher school, that moment when you get that student who just ain't worth two dead flies smashed. And then they have that aha and you're like, yes, that's why I do this. That's why. So it's a culmination of so many things. But at the end of the day, being able to provide somebody with at least and I tell my kids, if you don't know anything, if you don't walk away from my course knowing anything, you will know that Miss Mills loves me. I don't care what I did. I don't care what I said. Miss Mills gonna ride for me. Like she's crazy. She's lost in space, but she loves me. That crazy girl loves me. That crazy lady with them spots, that's my girl. You know what I'm saying? It's that allowing students to feel safe, because a lot of my students don't, and it's a lot of my students don't even get a I love you.
Yeah.
Without, and I started doing that, and I know I went way off the question. I started doing that when I first started teaching. And I teach high school, so it's I love you guys. They look at me like, okay. And then after a while, it's all right, we love you too. Like, you better say I love you back. I love you too. But it's they understood that. Then when I started teaching in Camden, it was kind of like, I love you guys. I had the students say, for what? And that took me like, what you mean for what? Because you're you. My mama don't even say I love you. Okay, well, that's a situation between you and your mama. I don't want nothing to do with that. But I love you for you. I love you because you showed up today. I love you because you're in the skin you're in. I love you because nobody else is you. You're the best at being you. So that's why I love you. So it's just allowing those kids to feel things that I didn't feel, that I needed to feel as a teenager, as a Black girl in predominantly white schools and predominantly white classes. I needed to see that somebody cared. Not because I was a student, not because I represented a number, not because I brought in tax revenue or because I brought in good statistics, but because you cared whether I was having an off day. You could look at me and say, before you walk in my classroom, I need to know what's happening here, because it's showing here, and I know that you're going to be like, brrr, once you get in there. So I need you to talk to me. So that's kind of why.
It's a pretty good reason.
As far as reasons go,
I mean,
it's not bad.
It's fine,
Top three for sure. All right. So, as you know, or you may not know, but Chad and I, we met on TikTok. We met through this lovely thing called Teacher TikTok, and I wanted to know about your TikTok. This is because, of course, this is how we met you as well, and we've pulled you into this fold, and you've pulled us into your amazing fold. You speak the truth. You don't pull any damn punches. I'm going to say that right now, and you lay all your cards out on the line. So, with that, have you faced any backlash on your TikTok or from outside sources for speaking out about issues within the school or issues with administrators and, removing that, what they call a professional filter, and just speaking the truth? Have you gotten any backlash off of that?
Honestly, no. I get in trouble more because the things that I say on TikTok, I will also say in meetings. Again, I don't come from a point where it's like, I don't have a filter, so I say whatever I want. I just don't have a filter. I try, but it hurts. It's like I have a mouthful of bumblebees, and it's like, you're an idiot, and it happens. So as far as backlash on TikTok, no, I have not. But there's always time. But it's the way I feel about that is, if you choose to get mad at the truth, who am I to stop you?
Right.
Because the thing is, if I was lying, and I was being, what's the word, salacious, if I was saying things that were not true, there was no evidence steeped in anything that I said, I am literally pulling stuff out of my butt. And history teachers, English teachers, anything that is stated without proper evidence, you're just pulling stuff out your booty.
Right.
Okay? So it's if I was saying things that were untrue, by all means, if I'm lying for the sake of lying, then you come in here and you read me the riot act. You light my comments up, because that is not how it goes. Because some people do put 100 on 10. Some people do falsify information to make their situation bad. Teaching is not synonymous with muck and mire and frustration. That's one of the side effects that comes with it. Just like when you take NyQuil, a side effect is sleepiness. It happens. But it's just the fact that we have been tied and to education, so it's almost like an albatross. What we once loved is now drowning us. And you can't, guess what? You can choose to be mad, but I choose not to drown. Like Chad, you said something the other day. You are positive that you are over the bitterness. Like you're positive, you're choosing positivity. I was that teacher that was just so frustrated, just so angry. I was the teacher that hollered all the time. I was the teacher that was just so bitter and acerbic. I was every type of freaking teacher that's out there. She played that game. And I had to realize if I'm not authentic, if I'm not genuine to who I am, and there's a way that I can say certain things that can get the point across. So yeah, if I need to do that to tweak it and freak it to make it more palatable, I can do that, but I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna lie. 2 + 2 is always gonna equal 4, and you're not gonna spit in my face and call it rain. If something's wrong and it's been brought to your attention, because I'm not the first to say it. So if it's been brought to your attention, don't be mad because now people are sick and tired of being sick and tired. We're tired of you poking me in the eye and saying, oh, well, you know, you did it. I didn't do it. And I should not, along with my colleagues, my brothers and sisters in education, should not be forced to make a choice where it's like, well, you're doing this for the kids. No, what I'm doing for the kids is not, it's not being able to be done efficiently because those who are supposed to support me dropped the ball. Let's just be honest. They pooped the bed when it came to it. So just like we're told in every PD, accountability counts. Be vulnerable with your students. Allow them to see who you are. I have to be true to myself. That means I'm gonna call a spade a spade. I'm gonna say when you're wrong. I'm gonna say when I'm wrong, and I'm gonna come to you and see if we can compromise, if we can come to some type of solution. So to answer your question, no, I don't get in trouble for my TikTok. I get in trouble in meetings. No, ma'am, nobody asked you. I know nobody asked me, but since I'm here, since it's time to roll, I'm gonna put my 2 cents to the bill. Thank you.
I'm just gonna say right now, if you hear of anything opening up in your school for another, bearded history teacher to come your way, I would love just to sit for 5 minutes in one of your staff meetings.
I want to be a fly on that wall.
Oh my God.
I will tell you, it's meetings that the times, because you have those in those meetings, and I'm sure that you're familiar, the ones who are like, well, I just have something to say. I just have something to say. I just have something to say. Well, I just want to interject, and I just want to piggyback, and I just want to okay. I will have those conversations with those people privately.
Right.
Like if it's a situation where my principal, bless their heart, I heard that you could say, you're from the South. I heard that you could say bad stuff about people as long as you say bless your heart. Is that
absolutely?
That's all you got to say.
Yep, that's it.
So bless their little, totally oblivious, totally aloof, just don't know which end is always up, but it's always something going on. Bless their heart. If it's a situation where I feel I am being grouped, like, well, it's y'all, that's one too many people. I didn't do that. That's not me. Then I will go to that person like, you know what? Can I just have a conversation with you, please? Because not every problem needs to be publicized. I'm a strong believer of, that's family business. Whatever problems that you having with your significant other, you don't take that out the house. You don't tell your neighbor that she got on your nerves. I don't tell my neighbor that, I'm 2 seconds off this man's tail because he got one more time to leave the toilet seat up. I don't swim. Put it down. Put it down. Anyway, I digress. That's nobody's business. That's nobody's business. So if I have a problem with a particular person, I'm going to go to you and say, you know what? Is there a way that we can work this out? Is there a way? Because I'm going to tell you right now, I'm not going to be able to hold my feelings. And it's going to turn into something ugly. So my anxiety would rather we discuss it now when I'm playing nice. Because let me play nice while I'm playing. Because this is all an act. This is a facade. She is not a nice person. So it's that. Fair. But I will be the teacher to be like, y'all, I'm sorry. You about to be late. Text your significant other. You about to be in traffic. This is not making sense. I will do that. When I get fed up enough and it's just the grumblings. All these grumblings can be a shout. We don't have to whisper. Right. We don't have to grumble. We can shout. Because the same people who are telling us, we need you for these schools, nobody can do your job. Nobody can do our jobs. Because if they could, you think there'd be a teacher shortage? You think there would be so many people trying to tell us what we can and cannot do? if they were able to do our jobs. We are a powerful group of people. So once we start really honing in on that power, like with podcasts like this, like with Teacher Talk, then folks will start understanding like, oh, maybe I shouldn't piss off the people who are, creating our next leaders. Because all of the generation, it's not just a song. The children are the future. All of this that's going on, they are internalizing that. It's like when mom and dad fight in the house. They pick up on it. They pick up on that energy, and eventually they're going to side with somebody, because kids aren't stupid. They're just short. They're not stupid.
See, that's why we had you on the show, because it is that we are powerful, but we have become powerless.
We've been conditioned to feel that
we've been conditioned that way. Absolutely. And so we want to reclaim that power.
Definitely.
The power that we have unwillingly misappropriated away from ourselves. We want to reclaim it. And so you're saying those things in the meetings, and you have people that in most schools, it is grumblings. We're afraid to say it out loud. We have so many people that don't put out videos on social media. They don't speak on things. They'll come into the comment sections. Thank you for saying the things that I can't say, because they're so afraid to speak out. And so what we wanted to do was talk to you about why. Why are we so afraid to speak about the issues in our profession?
There are so many reasons why. I think about that too, honestly. I was on to probably like a lot of people. I was on TikTok as a viewer much longer than I was as a content creator. She fancy. Sorry. But that fear, that driving fear. Nobody goes into teaching expecting to have to find another job. It's like going into a marriage expecting you a nice mom, but don't get comfy. Okay, because there's always something new on the lot. Nobody goes into teaching expecting to hop. And so when you go into a teaching position, the first thing is teacher security. I know the first thing my mama said, don't you do nothing to lose this job. Like, don't you lose these benefits, girl. And it would have to be something completely nefarious, I think, for teachers to really lose their job. We've been conditioned so because of whatever. People can blame the government. People can blame this. I'm going straight to admin. We have been conditioned so because there are so many pressures that are not social, emotional, student achievement related. So when we start to really want to speak out, we're teaching kids to be critical thinkers. We're teaching kids to be fearless. But yet the person teaching them is full of fear. We are fearful that if I don't get my lesson plans in on time, boom, I'm in trouble. If I, don't attend these duties that have nothing to do with education or my qualifications as a teacher, I'm in trouble. I can't even really use my First Amendment right and speak how I want to, even though I'm teaching students to articulate themselves, to say what's on their heart, to work on their delivery, public speaking, writing this down. But I'm scared that I have somebody breathing down my neck like, excuse me, I saw what you posted, you're going to lose your job. We have been, and trying to use my words carefully, we have been conditioned to deal with learned helplessness. We know what we can do. We know that we have the escape, we have that path right there. It's like, if I take that step though, I've been dinged and I've been talked about and I've been scorned and I've been this and I've been that. And if I tell anybody I'm frustrated and I'm tired, well, you signed up for this job. If I tell anybody I'm really struggling with these kids, well, you have poor classroom management. Did you try building relationships? If I tell people like, look, I need time to prep. I need time to be effective. You're just being selfish. You're not using your time wisely. It's like you get beat and beat and beat in every angle, every position. It's like to say anything, I'm gonna get in trouble again. We're hit dogs and we're tired of hollering. So what a lot of people are starting to do, turn to Teacher Talk. What a lot of people starting to do these podcasts. We are reclaiming our power and really finding our voices. Okay, fine. Especially now, like teachers are leaving this profession like they giving money away for teachers to leave. Like every $1,000 for every teacher who leaves. And I wish somebody, you really want to say something to me, and I'm in this building covering double classes, doing double duty, while y'all sit in a comfortable office, in a comfortable chair, ordering lunch, calling around to see what you're going to have for lunch today. And you want to say something to me about what I do in my spare time? Shut, girl. Not today, Satan. Not today.
It's so much gaslighting.
So much gaslighting.
So much gaslight. It's what you're talking about is like the highest form of gaslighting coming from every direction, because it's do this for the kids. I'm here for the kids. I'm also here for myself.
Yeah.
And I'm here for the future of this country. I'm not just an education to do a job. It is a job, but I am here to develop the future of our country, the future leaders.
And that's where you start to see, that's where you start to see the separation of the men from the boys, those who are really in it for the kids, those educators those administration who did not forget their roots. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And in my culture, in the Black culture, we have they forgot their roots. They forgot where they come from. You know what I'm saying? Like, don't get too big for your britches, because I remember. Okay, I remember. It's sometimes we get admin who forget. They have forgotten from whence they came. And it's, as a teacher, whether you were in the classroom for 5 years, 3 years, whatever, and I have a whole another feeling about that, whatever you did, you still were involved and still to some effect had to deal with the trenches, the teaching trenches.
Right.
And then it's like, once they get those degrees, they skip down that yellow brick road, get that nameplate, and then they forget the trenches are still there. You just decided that you didn't want to take grenades anymore for whatever reason, and that's perfectly fine. Not everybody is made for war. Not everybody is built for this. However, if you are dealing with the best thing that people are sending out their door every day, which is somebody's child, if you are dealing with somebody's child, you have committed to doing your very, very best. How dare you sit and demand 100% from somebody's kid who you don't know what the devil they're going through, because these kids is living the stuff that these kids are going through. I personally am so thankful that I did not have to.
Right.
Like, at all.
Absolutely.
This world is weird.
Yeah.
Weird. And the fact that these kids can still function and they can still make it through and perform the way that they perform, work the jobs they have to work, deal with the traumas that they have to deal with. And I'm still asking, I'm not your mom, I'm not your dad, I don't provide anything for you, except I love you, how you doing today, we got to get some business taken care of. I have to convince you to buy in to me.
Yeah.
I can't ask you or demand 100% of you if I'm not giving that to you. If I'm not getting that from the higher ups who say, we're a family, I support you, what you think I'm gonna do? Attitude reflects leadership. It's not just a clever quote. It's life. So if you're giving me this poor behavior, why are you looking at me to give you what you're not giving me?
Right.
I don't do that. I don't do that. So I think that there is once the disconnect breaks down, once people start figuring out like this hierarchy that you put in here, where it's admin and then it's this one and then it's this one and then way at the bottom, behind, underneath the gum and the hair and the rocks, that's where the teachers are. That little that sticky, that that's where we are.
Right.
Once it's understood, like, you might be the principal, but you can't do my job. Here's how I know you can't do my job. You can't even do a robocall. You can't even work the sound on the projector. Y'all can't even send schedules in an appropriate amount of time, even though you had the spring and all of the summer to do that.
Yeah.
So when you want to sit and hang my job in the balance, if you want to sit and, as my mama says, sit high and look low.
Yeah.
You want to talk to me like I'm less than, okay, fine, we can do that, but I'm gonna go fact for fact. Fact for fact. Everything that you were derelict in your job duties, I'm gonna let you know about, because everybody knows about it. You know what I'm saying? So it's yeah.
It's one of those positions where they really can't get away from any mistakes that they make. Like you said, like, if I know about it, everybody's going to know about it, right? Because it's there, it's present. It's the one thing that really seems to bug me the most with what I'm seeing from a lot of our teachers. I won't say a lot, some of our teachers nowadays. I grew up with an old school teacher father, 43 years, high school English, is they don't feel like they're on display. They just walk in and they, are lazy, or they don't feel like they're on display, when really every day, like you said, we are. And we have to be making these things right for our children, for these students, because this world is wild. And what they're going through, I know I didn't have to deal with.
Yeah, the stories I hear, I mean, it's heartbreaking. You're in the middle of class and you find out something about a student, and like, you've got to hold that in somehow, take care of the situation, and continue on, because you have 30 other students in the classroom, or possibly 40 other students in the classroom. It's, people don't realize what we're really dealing with. And I'm going to say it. If you have not taught during a pandemic, get out my face.
Get to stepping.
Out of my face.
Go play in traffic.
Because, and Jesse, I don't know. Can you talk about that? Can you talk about administration and not understanding what it's like to teach in a pandemic?
Y'all, if you're listening to this and not watching it on YouTube, the look on her face right now, I suggest just moving over to YouTube.
It's about to go down.
Just for the face. Just yeah. Go ahead.
Peep game. I'm glad you asked. So during the Panic at the Disco, it was almost like, and now I was on maternity leave because I stay pregnant. Anywho, but it was almost like there were grumblings. The chats are always buzzing with teacher gossip. So it was like, well, it's there are grumblings about going virtual, blah, 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 blah. Now, one of my mentor teacher, who is dynamic, shout out Mr. Mac, he's always been the very techie, technological, like, all right, I'm gonna find a way. I'm tired of paper and pencil. We gonna find a way to make this work. So he started saying, like, we need to get more comfortable with getting teachers on the same type of platform. We need to start doing this. Like, teachers had their ear to the streets. You understand what I'm saying? Because we do know in our building, communication sucks. I don't know if I'm allowed to say that, but it sucks. So we find our information out from the students. However, the students find it out. Oh, and here's how bad it is. The students know, they'll say, like, oh, Miss Millie, we about to have a fire. Oh, no, don't start that. Don't start that. We about to have a fire drill.
You too?
At first I'd be like, and how you know? All right, just wait. And I hate being proven wrong, unless it's in like an academic situation.
Right.
All right, just wait. And then sure enough, boop! How do you not? We know. We be knowing. Miss Mills, we about to have a lockdown. Don't do that. Miss Mills, Miss So-and-so, like, and the gossip is good. Like, Miss Mills, Miss So-and-so left, right? No, she didn't. Watch. By Friday, we're going to have a new teacher. And sure enough, you see the coverage list on Friday, like, how did you know? Like, they're swamis. They know everything. So it's communication is so bad, the teachers don't even listen to admin anymore. It's one of those, we got to keep our ear to the streets. So anyway, teachers have been saying, like, at my kids' school, they already started to implement this. This is what's happening at my school. So there was kind of like a silent shift as to, let me get more comfortable with the platforms that we're using on here, because we about to hit a snowstorm, and I'm not talking like snow. So people started getting more acclimated, blah blah blah. Then we started really voicing concerns with this whole virtual situation. And it's like, look, y'all aren't, just because you pop into a classroom for 5 minutes in the waiting room, and then if I don't let you in quickly enough, you are now texting and calling me saying I'm trying to get into your room while I'm trying to take attendance, and you also have the audacity to text me like, hey, I still need to get your attendance. Well, I'm trying to figure out how to let you into my room, but not. It was like, look, these are the problems that we're having. And I tell you, people had, and it was like legitimate concerns. Like, this is really a problem. I have kids who don't have Wi-Fi. I have kids who don't have computers. I have kids who have school computers, but it's broken. I have kids who are dealing with COVID losses. I have kids who have to watch their siblings. I have kids who are essential workers. Like, anybody who was in fast food, you were an essential worker. So kids were like, Miss Mills, I'm sorry, but I'm at work. Whatever. That's fine. Do what you have to do. Then you have admin. Why isn't so-and-so's camera on? That's gonna look poorly for you. What's going to look poorly is the fact that this child is working and at school at the same time. You're not talking about the fact that they're working right now. You're more concerned about this. So then we get to we have to fix these problems. What can y'all do as admin? Well, give us a list of what this is the list. We're going over the list. Well, give us some time to look at the list. You don't need time to look at the list. We're talking about the list. Okay, well, give us time to work it out. Time, and nothing happens. So when it comes to people trying to give advice for teaching in the pandemic, working in the pandemic, it was like, well, y'all didn't do any of that. It was the teachers who put the stress again on our backs. It was the teachers who had COVID who were still working. It was the teachers who lost spouses to COVID who were still working. The teachers who lost parents who were still expected to log in next to her dying mother's bed. You can't tell me jack doodly squat until you have suffered and walked through the fire like I have. Yeah, we were all in that panorama, but it was levels to it. It was levels to it. And until somebody in that position sat down and was like, I need to know what was going on. Let me take your class. That's something I've never heard from an admin. Let me take your class.
Right.
Let me see what's going on so I can I can truly be supportive. When I say I support you, I can be supportive. I can see what you mean when it's like, yo, we are now 1 year out of a panorama and I got 30 bodies in a classroom that only holds 22.
Yep.
Point where I have to steal desks from other classrooms and you want us to wipe down these desks, you want us to spray, but you don't give paper towels or spray. And I still have only 47 minutes to do this. And I'm a traveling teacher, so I was in 6 different classrooms and I have you see what I'm saying? So it's you really can't tell me ish. And I know I come off as, well, she's the angry one. And it's not. It's just I'm vocal. I'm vocal.
Oh, I don't find you angry at all. It's calling attention to a lot of things that many teachers feel 100%. They just are too scared of potential backlash or what have you to vocalize it, because they feel maybe they can't vocalize it in a way that is going to come off with that quote unquote professional je ne sais quoi, as the French said, right? You know what I mean?
Professional if I'm pissed. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
If I'm giving poor working conditions, I can't be professional. If I'm literally giving nothing to work with, I can't be professional. Here's what's professional: doing your job.
Yeah.
Here's what's professional. So if you want to be professional, you have to start at the top of the totem pole. And I've literally had this conversation before. My principal will say, well, what can I do differently? And when she said that to me at my end of the year meeting, I said, first off, I never went to principal school. So you asking me what you can do differently, that's a big reflection on you. Because I told you 6 years in a row what you can do differently, and you ain't done not a daggum thing.
Right.
You don't even change your hairstyle. So at this point, it's falling on deaf ears. Admin, if you're listening to this, stop asking us what you need us to do and start doing what we have said. It makes me really wonder, are they passing? Is it like every person with an eyebrow gets to be a principal? Because how can you just forget?
Right.
Just totally kind of erase what your teachers need, because you were once in that position. And it's not outlandish. I don't think it's unreasonable. I don't think it's a wild request to make sure that the people who are dealing with such a impressionable, such a precious group have the things that they need. Would you want your brain surgeon to not be rested, to not have the tools that they need, to have to buy their own tools, so they got to wait between paychecks to get the anesthesia, and you may not get the Clorox kind of anesthesia. You might just get the Great Value brand of anesthesia, so you might feel what's going on in there. Nowhere else is that the case. But I have to figure out how I'm gonna buy school supplies. You know what I'm saying? I didn't even know if I was gonna have a classroom this year. So I have to balance that out. And it's not just me, it's all of us. And I don't know about you, but we don't get paid during the summer. We don't have that situation where people, they take a little bit. Most teachers I know are living paycheck to paycheck. So you better come up off them dollars on the 15th and the 31st. And then June, July, and August, we try and figure out how to make it work. Because back in September, we have to have a completely decorated classroom. We have to have this. We have to have that. We have to have the other. In spite of everything else that we already have to deal with.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So it's just, I don't know what the question was. I'm sorry.
No, hey, there you do you. I mean, that's why you're here. But I do want to follow this up with another question because we alluded to the fact that there are tons of teachers out there who just don't know how to properly formulate the words to speak their discontent. But there's that one breaking point that every single teacher has had in their career, no matter if it's been a year or 35 years. My question to you is, what was your breaking point to realize that you could no longer internalize the angst that was coming from what we're dealing with as educators across the globe, basically?
Honestly, I've been teaching about 10 years. I know the youth. I know. But it's like every year there's been a I don't want to say a breaking point, but a come to Jesus moment where you literally are like, how badly do I need this job? Because I can't continue like this. I refuse. I'm one of those people, again, I came from educators. So there was always the, don't get complacent. Don't ever get complacent. Once you become complacent, you need to retire. Once you become satisfied with how you're teaching and satisfied with your lessons, and once you become satisfied with what you're doing, you're no longer striving to, oh, I got to try that. Oh, that looks good. Oh, I like that. Oh, I'm going to learn this. It might totally fail. I might totally fall flat on my face, but I want to try it. Once that excitement goes, you need to retire. Like you washed out. And you're going to cause problems for other people. It's like the boxer who keeps boxing past his prime. Now you're a liability.
Yeah.
Somebody's about to cash in on that insurance. Somebody better call the general because it's about to get ugly in here. But for me, like I said, there's always been that breaking point. This summer, my fiance, actually, he said to me, we were having I don't want to call it a quarrel. It was a difference of opinion. My opinion was correct. His was different. But it was, he said, you know what? I hate when the school year comes. And so I was like, well, me too, because I can't. He was like, no, you're not listening. And he's as vocal as I am, he's the exact opposite. He's extremely stoic. So when y'all men get in y'all feelings, you just got to sit and listen, because that's very, I think that's very, it's a level of vulnerability that can't be played with. And especially with Black men. Like when he's starting to express himself, just be quiet and process. Don't look to answer, process. But that's something else for another day. Anywho, so he started telling me, he was like, I hate when the school year comes because you're like a thorn bush. And my first thing is, excuse me, ethnic word what? I'm a what? He's like, you're like a thorn bush. Like, you're just not friendly. You're not, I don't know, when you walk in the house, you hollering at the dog, you hollering at the kids, you even the way you open the door is aggressive. You mad at the He was like, and I want to hug you, but then he was like, the look on your face, it's like you're Eveline, it's like from the Wiz, you just crawled up from under that house. I'm like, all right, chill out with all the you know what I'm saying, with the adjectives and all the symbolism. I get it. And so, but that really hit. That really hit, because it was like everything that I love my mother with everything in me, rest in peace. I love her with everything in me. But the way that she would come home after a long day of teaching, by the way she pulled in the driveway, you could tell.
Yes.
The type of mama I was going to get. And it got so bad, even the dog would know. When she would hit that drive, and she never sped for no reason. 25 was just, that was a suggestion. This is not, I don't need to do that. As long as I'm, 23, I'm good. But when she hit that car, like, the dog would take off running. Even the dog knew. It's not safe. And when he said that to me, and my kids are 4 and 2. And when he said that to me, he's like, that's why I take the kids. As soon as you walk in the house, that's why I take the kids. We go outside. We just get away from you so that you can just de-escalate. But I'm telling you, you got to fix it. And it was like, that was my breaking point. I will never ever. I will be just daggone before I allow or I continue to allow the traumas and the anxieties that I have to deal with at that job to infiltrate my home.
Yep.
It's and it's so much easier said than done. It's so much easier said than done. And again, I'm not sitting high looking low, but looking into his face and hearing him vocalize everything that I had internalized since we've been together. I've been a teacher. So everything that, all of the shortcomings, all of the, this lesson didn't pop like I needed it to today. You know, I lost control, and I really shouldn't have said that to that student, but I didn't get a chance to apologize. So now that student's going to think that I feel this way when it wasn't their fault, and I should have done better, and I'm the adult in the room, and the world says that I can't have feelings and I can't have emotions. I always have to be professional, but these people are getting on my bleepy nerves. They're mean. I haven't eaten. I gotta pee. And then, you know what I'm saying? And then you come home to mommy, when all day it's been Miss Mills. And it's like, I need you to not call my name. I need. And I think it's unfair that we have to, as teachers, I don't know if you know if y'all are all parents, but as parents, I've learned our needs fall way low. When you know what I'm saying, and you have a baby from those consequences, you know, and positive consequences, because you know I love my kids, but you know what I'm saying, when that fun turns into, oh, you're really here. Everything that you want, need, it does not matter until after the kids are dealt with. Does not matter. Doesn't matter until after your partner's dealt with. In this job, when you have people who don't understand, but they try to understand, but they're still that, I don't understand. Like, just quit. Quit? What do you mean quit? Because if I'm not teaching and I'm not loving on my kids, who's going to love on my kids? Because nobody can love my students the way I do. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
When you have all of those realities, it forces you and your, as teachers, we never want to fail. Failure is never an option, but failing means that something's not working. Failing allows you the opportunity to try something new. It allows you the opportunity to see, this is not working. Stop. Abort. But we have been conditioned to know that failing means it's over. Failing means it's done. It's finito. Just bury it. It's like the Undertaker. Just DDT it. It's done. But it allowed me to see, like, I'm failing in the areas where I refuse to fail. I cannot fail my children. I'm not going to. It's not an option. I will not fail my fiance, future husband. Not going to. It's not an option. So I have to be comfortable. Teachers, we have to be comfortable with reclaiming us. We have to come first. The people who we pull sheets with every night, they have to come first. The people who wrap us up, they envelop us with that love after we've left the hell's fire and brimstone, we have to put them first. So if it comes down between what's my breaking point, having to look in that man's face and really hear him say everything I knew was already true. That's the part that hurts so much. When you hear somebody say truthful stuff, that's why people get so mad at teacher talk. The truth is never pretty. I ain't never heard no pretty truth. I heard a lot of ugly lies, though. I heard some bad lies. But the truth is never pretty. And when he said that, I don't know what to do with you. Like, I don't know what to do. And I know that our children feel the same way. And then you start playing in your mind. Those times where it's like, I thought I de-escalated. I thought I decompressed. I thought I got rid of it. And then you hear, how was your day? Just don't even ask me about my day anymore. Don't even ask me about my day. Well, then that's making him feel away, because it's like, well, I'm not going to tell you about my day because you don't want, you know what I'm saying? You're not sharing.
Right.
So, and sharing is caring, except when it comes to, you know, the eat pox and everything else. So it's like, what do you do? What do you do? So my breaking point, it was having to realize I am just a number. I'm just a body to these people. That's not the case for everybody. That is not the case for everybody. There are some districts where they are a for real family. Like, principal's calling, something ain't right. I got you. You need to go handle such and such. I got your class. I ain't never been in those situations. So it's having to realize I matter. I'm more important than a job. That's not what we were raised with. Because my mama went to school during a time, her district went on strike. They went on strike. She had just built a house. She's a single woman because my daddy was daddying with other people. There was a lot of financial strain on her. So she went to work. She had to go to work. And I would ask her, like, with all that you went through after that, because that happened in the 90s. She didn't retire until 2008, but dealt with all of that strife and trauma and never missed a day of school. So she was in there from 91 to 2008, 180 days straight, dealing with all of that. And it was like, and it didn't just stay there. We think that our frustration stays there. It don't stay. It's not like a dog. You sit, stay. It don't stay.
Nope.
It comes with you. It's sitting on your shoulder. It's sitting in the back of your mind. You hear something, you're always thinking of your kids. You're always thinking of what's going on. What could you do better? What could you do differently? How's tomorrow going to be different from today? How can you be better? How can you live up to these standards that aren't reachable? These are not attainable standards. But being teachers, we're conditioned to, I have to hit that goal. I have to hit that. My worth is measured in what I can hit for other people. Not the impressions that I make, not the feelings that students get, not the social emotional part, what they call a touchy-feely part. That doesn't matter. My worth is measured in data, in passes, fails, loss, wins, and maybes. When I was teaching AP, that's how I would divide the kids. Because they wanted to know in the beginning, who do you think is going to be a definite 4, 5, or 6? Who's going to be your 2 and 3? Who are your low levels? So I had to put kids for real in wins, losses, and maybe columns because my worth was tied into how well they did on those tests that are not culturally put together anyway.
Standardized tests are a whole another kit and caboodle.
Beyond unequitable.
So with that being said,
inequitable.
Okay, tell the truth to shame the devil. So with that being said, it was like, what were your breaking points? There were too many to name. And that's the problem. There are too many breaking points to name. And people in our positions are choosing their families by keeping themselves in this den of iniquity. Your family's not benefiting if you're crazy.
Right.
Your family's not benefiting if you're always angry. As much as I love my mother, and I'm sure that you could tell, because like, dang, do she got anybody else? But there were times where it was just like, I wish you could quit your job. Because you are just you're not the lady I know. Like, you're giving me Miss Mills. I don't need Miss Mills. I need my mama. I need my mama. I don't want to give my fiance Miss Mills. You ever given your significant other the teacher voice? And caught yourself giving them the teacher voice? And it's like, okay, so sweetheart, what do you suggest? What would you have me do? And it's like, don't you teacher me. Don't you teacher me. And it's like, oh my God. That's my bad.
Yeah, we're a house of teachers, so it goes back and forth.
I've definitely been hit with I'm not one of your students. Definitely.
And then you get, well, if you didn't act like one, if the pencil didn't fit, but okay, I get what you're saying. I'll reel it in. I'll bring it back. These are holstered. I got it. But that's the breaking point. Having to, and I don't know if other professions have to deal with this, but having to realize Jessica was Jessica before she was Miss Mills. Like, after Miss Mills retires, she's still going to be Jessica. And what type of Jessica are my children and my husband going to remember me by? Like, with psychology, I talk about legacies. How do you want people to remember you? How do you want people to view you? It really doesn't matter what people think of you. How do you want others to view you? How do you want to be seen? What are you putting off in the atmosphere? I want to put off in the atmosphere, I was a dynamic mom. She's a good teacher. But a dynamic mom. Yeah. I can't be both. I don't think everybody can have it all. You cannot be an excellent teacher and a dynamic parent and partner. Not with the way things are right now.
No.
Yeah, the world has shifted way too much. And that's, when I hit my breaking point last year, I was definitely going to quit. I was in the middle of my master's degree. I was going to quit school. I was like, I'm done. There's no point to anything I'm doing right now. They have taken all the love out of my career. I'm failing on every level. My mental health was a absolute disaster. And I was more depressed than I've ever been in my life. And I hit a point where I said, no more. I'm not going to let people keep taking things away from me. I'm not about that life. And so I had to really dig down and just decide I'm going to have to just be me. I'm going to have to do things my way. And the real Chad started showing up to work. Chad started showing up to school. And I was still, I'm Mr. Pettit on the outside, but the me that's showing up, it's Chad. I'm going to sit down and chill. Why are you sitting down, Mr. Pettit? Because y'all acting crazy. When you're ready to be chill, I'll be chill. You know, I'm going to be over here. Next thing you know, like, the relationships were just totally different, and zero discipline issues. Everything was just great. And it was like, they were like, you're just like one of us. Like, I had a full-blown anxiety attack in the middle of class. My students had to go get help.
Jesus, be offense.
And it was like, okay, y'all, that was an anxiety attack. But then it was like, you have them too? I'm like, yeah. Let's all just be real. Let's all just be real. And my TikTok became this outlet for teachers. And I hear over and over and over again from teachers, and this is not bragging. Anybody who knows me, this is not bragging. But I hear from teachers all the time, your videos got me through.
Brad, let me tell you.
Yes, sir.
I'm going to cut you off. And I'm going to keep it clean. When I tell you, me, had called down to one of my dean's office. And because she and I are good friends, I called her and said, I'm going to tell you right now, it's been real. Thank you for everything. You that breakup letter. Thank you for everything that you have done for me and all that we've gone through, but I'm done. I cannot do this anymore. I said, because at this point now, with a particular class that I had already I documented, called everybody's mama. I called the Virgin Mary because I was that desperate. I called everybody's mama. And I was like, and I'm still not getting anything. I said, before I get to fighting in here, because that's where my fight or flight has taken me. I felt like I was backed into a corner, and it was like, it's going to kill or be killed. Just how I am. I'd walk into that class, I'd have a headache. My heart would be racing. I'd be short of breath. I would just, and I'm an active person. So you're trying to tell me walking from one side to the other is causing me, I'm losing breath? My headaches were on 10. And I sat there and I was like, how bad do I need this job? You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm marketable. You know what I'm saying? There are things I could do. I mean, I was coming up with nothing, but it was like, at this point, I'll be a Walmart greeter. I'll be a street pharmacist. It don't matter. You can please edit that. It don't matter. I can't be in here anymore. Like, I'm going crazy. I sat at my desk and I cried. And I don't cry at school. No. And I cried. Of course, I waited for those banshees to leave. But I cried and I said, God, I can't. I don't know what I'm supposed to be doing, but nothing that I'm supposed to be doing should feel this bad. No, this is abuse. I felt like I was in an abusive relationship. You ever seen What's Love Got to Do with It? I can see it in the limo.
You were Tina.
You gave me my Tina moment. You gave me the moment where she snatched that sideburn off, kicked that man in the baby maker, and darted across that highway. I looked at your video and I was like, I'm not by myself. I was like, I'm not alone. Here it is, and forgive the honesty, but here is this white man is going through the same stuff I'm going through. Does he teach here? Like, can we be friends? Like, can you just can I call you sometime? Like, it was one of those situations where it's like, I'm not by myself. And then I started coming across your stuff. I'm like, wait a minute. So everybody who's got the title of educator who takes their stuff seriously, because there's levels to that too.
True.
So those who are really taking, like, they take their job seriously. It's not just me. Like, I'm not catastrophizing. I'm not allowing my anxiety to take me over. Like, I'm not the only one drowning. You are my lifeboat. I'm trying to tell you, I was that afternoon. My mama told me, if anybody ever makes you cry like that, you need to get away, because that's abuse. Now, she was talking about friends and significant others, but when you got to look at your job, like, this is a toxic, abusive relationship. If this was my child, I would not advise my child to stay there.
Right.
Like, and that's the thing. Teaching has turned into an abusive person. male, female, whatever. But it's the monster under my bed. It's the monster in my closet. And Chad, you gave me the strength to beat the dog snot out of that monster. And there are some days where that monster lays me out.
Yep.
That monster, it is Iron Mike in his prime. But I get up. I get up. Y'all have given me, and not only me, I'm sure I can speak for others. You've given us the ability to get up. And people who aren't in that classroom every day, fighting with those personalities, it's not always a negative fight, but even if you have a great day, you're exhausted.
Mm-hmm.
Because you want to continue having great periods. So that means what you did for this period is not going to work for the next period. So you got to morph into you got to pull a Animorphs. You got to go into a whole another beast. I was a bird in the first class. I'm a lion in the second class. I'm about to be Chitara in the fourth class. All of that with whatever personal stuff you got going on. We always got those students who, all right, I haven't seen John in about 4 days. Anybody know what's going on with John? I haven't seen Michelle in a couple days. Where's anybody heard from Michelle? And it's just, you gave me peace in the midst of a storm. And it was the type of calamity that I was going through at the time was the same type of calamity I was going through when I had postpartum, the same type of calamity I was going through when I lost my mom, and the same type of calamity I was going through when I lost my daddy. And all of that has happened in a 4-year span. So it was like, I physically know that my mind is not going to be able to go through the bowels of hell like I've done the last 3 years of my life. Like, I can't do it. And stumbling across your stuff and stumbling across your content and just didn't lie, didn't sugarcoat. Y'all don't try to make it, rainbows and imagination. You don't try to make it like every day's a great day. Every day's wonderful. Every child is full of love and sunshine and sweetness. Some children are Chucky. Some children are shepherds for the devil. But you allowed me to be okay with knowing I cannot stand this child, but I'm still gonna smile in your face and act like you are wonderful, even though I curse your mother every time you walk in my class. Because I know she can keep you home.
That's fair.
But she chooses to send you here.
That's fair.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's y'all have allowed us to breathe. And for anybody who's had a panic attack, anybody who's been in a situation where your breath was taken from you, and you thought you were going to spend your last breath fighting for that breath, you allowed us to breathe.
Somebody cutting onions in here?
Like, there's no big enough thank you for that. Just by being transparent, just by being vulnerable, just by allowing me to see like, oh, it's not because I'm being sensitive. It's not because I'm a woman. It's not because, my emotions are everywhere and just, we're unstable creatures. It's because things are bad.
Yeah.
But just because they're bad, it doesn't mean that we have to be miserable.
Nope.
Yeah.
That's where I got confused. I equated bad with miserable. I have to be miserable because my conditions are miserable. Well, that proved to be I was a miserable ASS. Like,
yeah,
everywhere, all the time. I couldn't even stand to be around myself.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
You look in the mirror and you like,
that's it. That's it. That was it.
That's the soundbite.
I don't like me. I don't like me.
So if I don't like me, I know everybody around me.
Nobody likes me.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And you know what? Now I look in the mirror and I'm like, you know what? You're getting a little old, dog, but I love you.
That's refined.
That's where my refined. But see, that's where my mantra comes from. People don't realize you're worthy, you matter, you're loved. I wasn't saying that to my students. I wasn't saying that to my kids, my wife. I was looking in the mirror, saying that to myself when I felt like I wasn't worthy, when I felt like I didn't matter, and I felt like nobody loved me, and I was all alone. And this is all I had: this rubber band, popping it, telling me keep going. And tell yourself you're worthy, you matter, you're loved. And then I just decided I'm not the only one who feels this way.
Nope.
All these teachers are saying it. I got to tell them too. And that's the platform has given us so many opportunities. We got this podcast going and friendships. Like Brett texts me every day to ask me how I'm doing. When I'm a jerk and don't text him to check on him, he checks on me. I've got people checking on me and tagging me in videos and looking to me and people, you know, it's changed things. So now
It's crazy.
there's a few of us left. It is crazy. There's a few of us left, but we're holding on to this hope. Like, I'm not toxic positivity, but I'm positive I'm not going to live in the bitterness anymore.
Right.
Because what does that do? Because we're in a position where we are always being watched. We are always, it's like that Rockwell song. I always feel that somebody's watching me. We're always being, that was a jammer. That was a jammer.
It was a jam.
Yeah.
It was a jam. I had a moment.
We're always being watched. So and my thing is, and we mask so well. How much of that masking takes away from who we are? Like, how much of us really get caught in the facade? You know, because when we go out, it's literally, okay, I gotta put my teacher face on. And it's not even going in there to deal with the kids. I gotta deal with the foolishness. It's not the kids, because the kids are gonna do what kids do. Yeah. No matter the age level, you can guarantee a kid is gonna be a kid. That's what they do. And I have to tell my students, I don't mean that in a condescending way. I only call you a kid because you are younger than I. Because I have to keep that in the forefront of my mind. Because if you come out of a bag on me and I don't remember that you a kid, we're going to be squaring up like two winches in the streets. So keeping all of that in the forefront and just trying to navigate, trying to be the best version of yourself, but you're not happy with that version. So you put on a version that you think is what everybody needs. And then you give to so much, you give so much, all this need, and it's almost like you're chipping away at yourself. You're chipping away at the real you. And so then when you're left, and it's like you pull the wig off, and you're looking like, what happened? What happened? How come I don't recognize? It's because you've given something that's not you. So you're unrecognizable. And then it goes as far as to these relationships that you're building with these kids that are just, it's so important to build relationships. Yes, that's important. If you're not being real and you're not being vulnerable enough to allow them to see who you are those relationships real? Like, can they really say, like, I really felt, I felt that the version of Miss Mills that she gave me was authentically her? Well, that's a daggum lie, because that wasn't me.
Right.
That wasn't, you know what I'm saying? I curse. I say bad words sometimes.
No.
Oh God, because sometimes deaths just jump up and bite me, and like doors just purposely like trip me.
True.
Sometimes the floor, there will be nothing on it, but it will literally swallow me whole, and next thing I know, I'm face planting and nothing was there. I don't know. It's just, I don't know.
I hate floor goblins. They're the worst.
Death to them all.
Yes.
Goblins' lives don't matter. I said it, Harry Potter fans. But it's you can't, and again, I've been that person who was like, I think this is the version of me that they want, so let me be this version for this period. I think this is the version of me that they want, let me be this for this period. And it's so exhausting, because you lose who you're supposed to be, and then you forget who you're supposed to be where. So it's like, oh, well, why are you acting like that? I don't know. Why am I acting mean and I'm not really mean? Like, why are you acting like why? I don't know. Why am I laughing at this joke and it's not funny? Why am I saying it's okay and it's not okay? Why am I telling you, like, no, I'm fine, and I'm really not fine? And you can see it because of my mannerisms and how I act and my teaching it. Why are we lying? We don't get paid enough to lie.
No.
We be lying.
You ask me, do I look fat in this? And you look like Rasputia. I'm going to tell you, baby girl, just because it's in your size don't mean that's your size. You know what I'm saying?
I love this woman.
But that's the thing, though. Just because they want to put us in a cookie cutter type of format for what's supposed to be an ideal teacher. Well, you show me an ideal administrator. You show me an administrator who ticks off everything that they are supposed to do. I'm not talking about one who makes mistakes and then owns up to it. You show me one who does everything that they're supposed to do from stem to stern. And then that's when I'll start trying to be this fit into this mold that was created in the 1800s by people who were no more interested in spreading knowledge to the poor and disenfranchised than they were to methods of social control. Like, If the pandemic taught us anything, you don't need a school building for learning to take place.
Nope.
You just have to be willing. You have to be interested. You have to want to be better. So,
so for any non-teachers out there who have teacher friends who constantly hear their teacher friends go, man, I'm just so tired. Miss Mills here literally just summed up why every single teacher you know is exhausted at the end of the day, at the end of the week, and why we laugh about when you say, we get summers. So take what she just said in that last little span of time and really let that resonate with you. Even teachers who don't understand why you're tired yet, there's your answer.
Teaching should not be exhausting. My cooperating teacher, I'll never forget her, and I understood the point that she was trying to make, or not my cooperating teacher, my professor. She was like, if you are exhausted at the end of your day, you've had an effective day teaching. The first time that mess happened, I said, this lady lied, and I did not call her a lady. I said, this hussy lied to me. This cannot be effective teaching. So, I called my mama like, ma'am, should I be exhausted?
No.
Does that equate a hard day's work? She said, absolutely not. That does not equate a hard day's work. We have to stop thinking that. We have to stop putting our worth and our value into, well, I'm not tired enough today. It's almost like when you go to the gym and work out, well, I don't hurt enough, so I didn't work out hard enough. You're not supposed to hurt. You're not supposed to hurt. If you're hurting, you're doing something wrong.
Right.
Okay? If I'm exhausted, it's because I'm working harder. I'm not working smarter. When people talk about, flipped classrooms and, that's too much work. Yeah, it's a lot of work. However, the result is like, I can sit back and have a V8. I can walk around and while these people do all the heavy lifting,
right.
I just have to play Geppetto a little bit. Oh, I've been doing this wrong the whole time. We're not supposed to be exhausted, because then what are we supposed to give to other people? If we are pouring from an empty vessel, shout out Ms. Turnbull for telling me this. One of our social workers was like, Mills, if you're pouring from an empty cup, how are you going to fill anybody up? How are you going to be of any help to these kids who really, really need you, who you claim need you? That's why you can't take off. That's why you can't, have a mental health day. That's why you can't leave this job, because these kids need you. That's the emotional game that is played. Why, if they need me so bad, why am I giving them the disservice of not being my best self? Why am I not taking that mental health day? At 180 days, some of these parents keep their kids home 200.
Yeah.
Why can I not take a day for myself?
Yeah.
Why can I not take an hour? We have to be okay with voicing what we need. We're not talking about wants. Ain't nobody said, I'm not going to do this unless I get paid, blah, blah, blah. We have swallowed a whole lot of yards of bovine fecal matter. We've swallowed a lot of yards of mess. With people saying, with the gaslighting. Well, if you cared about the children, then you would be okay with them throwing chairs at you. If you cared about the children, then you'd be okay with jumping in front of a bullet. I am not. Make this school safe so I ain't got to worry about jumping in front of no bullets. I ain't got to worry about my kids being no hashtag. I don't have to worry about potentially shooting one of my daggum students. Make it right. The power lies with them. Or so they think the power lies with them. The power is with us.
Right.
If we get sick enough of being sick and tired, you ever been sick and tired of being sick and tired? What's the first thing you do? Change it up.
Yep.
Because you in a position where it's like, I'm over this. I don't know. I'm done. I'm over it. What do I need to do next? We as educators, I think we are getting to the point where we are sick and tired of being sick and tired. That generation of educators that was like, well, you just work and you work from sun up to sundown. You ignore your own children. You do this, you do that. You do that. And that's why they got hypertension. That's why they're having strokes. That's why they got the cancer. That's why they are just angry all of the time.
Yeah.
Those old folks, those old teachers are angry all the time. Because they spent 30 plus years being beat down and getting their knees knocked in every direction, all to say, well, I was a good employee. You can keep teacher of the year. You keep that. I'm going to be okay between my ears. okay? Because that ain't nothing but a game anyway.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
If you want to be honest,
Yep.
that ain't nothing but a game anyway. Don't dangle no carrot in front of my face. We should go. Teachers should have the intention of working hard because it's intrinsic.
Right.
However, somebody has to create that environment where we feel good to work hard. I feel good that I went in my classroom today. Like we was knocking stuff out. And that's the blessing of the teacher group that I have, because you have like-minded individuals. If you are in a situation, I don't know if, teachers who are listening out there, if you're in a situation where you are in a toxic situation, but you cannot leave, and don't sit there like, oh, well, I can find another job. Here's the truth. I'm going to tell you the truth. It sucks everywhere. It's bad everywhere. So it doesn't matter where you go. You still going to have your problems because it's a job. And you're putting a lot of trust and hope and faith into people. And people will always disappoint people. Boom, I said it. It is what it is. But there's nothing wrong with having people build you up. There's nothing wrong with finding a community within the foolishness, the pockets of foolery that are everywhere, rising really above the fray, because it's so easy to get caught up in the negativity.
Mm-hmm.
I had a negative in-class support teacher all year. Dead booty, guys. Dead booty. I would say, good morning. How you doing this morning? You can't get pissed off over cornflakes. You can't. I said, good morning, sir. How you doing today? The kids, this, that. And it's like, well, sir, if the kids is always what you're complaining about, maybe you should get in a job where there aren't no kids.
Right.
Because, but it's like, if you, that negativity is like ick sick. It's like poison ivy. It jumps on you and then it just spreads and it spreads and it spreads. And before you know it, you done ick sick somebody else. And you have to find a group of people, since you ain't in a position to go nowhere else because it's not better. Find you a group of people that force you to find the positivity. That force you to be like, I'm so sick of these people in this building. I'm so tired of it. There will be people in the group like, so you trying to tell me you can't have a good day. There's nothing about today that's positive. You come right in here looking right to the people who are going to piss you off. If you know everything on this side is going to cause you problems, why would you focus on that side?
Mm-hmm.
Why can't you find the little pieces of light?
Yeah.
That will help. It might not outweigh, but it will make this side more tolerable.
Absolutely.
Why do you hone in on the bad stuff? That's the thing. It's like schools hone in on the bad things. And it's like, yeah, we have poor communication. We got poor working conditions. Poor. However, through all that badness, I got some kids in here who are really the lights of my life. I have some giggles in here. I have a student in here who don't say nothing. But when he does, it's on point. And he only does it for my class. That's my light. I have a kid who comes from X, Y, and Z. Like X, Y, and Z. But they still come in here with their stuff done. I don't know how. They ain't got no lights. I don't know how. They don't have this. They don't have that. They don't have the other. But they come in here. And they come in here and they smile at me. So who am I? Who am I to cause their 47 minutes or however many minute period with me? Who am I to put a damper on that? Yeah. Who am I to put hell into their lives? Because I don't know what they came from. I don't know what situation they walked away from. But I know when you're here, I can't have hell in my life if I'm supposed to be heaven to you. It's not going to work.
Nope. Wow. I'm going to tell you, Jesse, one of the things we normally talk about on this show towards the end is we ask every last one of our guests, you have any advice for incoming teachers or new teachers? And I'm just going to say this whole episode is advice for new teachers. You knocked that question so far out of the park. Mark McGuire is embarrassed for himself. And so I'm just going to go ahead and parse that little piece out and say, Chad, I'm going to hand it back over to you, and he's going to talk about some takeaways.
Yeah, we like to talk about what we've learned from the show. We are teachers, we're educators, so we like to reflect at the end of a lesson. And an exit ticket, if you would. And well, for me, my takeaway is I'm reminded of the poem by Marianne Williamson that was quoted in Coach Carter. Our deepest fear is not that we are inadequate. Our deepest fear is that we are powerful beyond measure. It is our light, not our darkness, that most frightens us. We ask ourselves, who am I to be brilliant, gorgeous, talented, fabulous? Actually, who are you not to be? That's my takeaway. What about you, Brett?
Okay. All I heard was gorgeous, but thank you.
I'm not even going to do a takeaway today. No, for me, as kind of the rookie style teacher of the group here, I think for me, one of the biggest things that I took away from this is finding those pockets of light and remembering that it's not going to make up for all the negativity. But if we constantly are looking in the dark,
you're going to find darkness.
We're going to end up like those creatures off the movie The Descent. You know, we're just thriving for negativity. So finding those pockets of light to remind myself why I'm doing what I'm doing is going to be one of my biggest takeaways from today.
Definitely. Jesse, we cannot thank you enough for coming on the show and helping us to reclaim our confidence in education. It has been 100% our pleasure. And let us know when you start your podcast, because I can't believe you haven't already done one.
I did. It was a minute ago. Kind of went defunct.
Oh, no.
My 14 viewers got a little tired of me, so I had to let them go.
Well, I would listen. And 100%. Honestly, if you're not following Jesse with the Spots on TikTok, you're missing out on some raw, honest teacher talk. So go follow her. I can't believe you don't have 1 million followers, honestly.
I mean, you and me both. Hello, talk to the TikTok. I think they're playing with me. I think it's in the algorithm. You know how they do.
That algorithm.
It has no rhythm.
Okay, hello.
It's just an algorithm.
Just Al. But thank you guys so much for inviting me. I really do appreciate it. And again, I just thank you guys for allowing this space to exist. Thank you for being fearless and just being the ones who are just sick and tired of being sick and tired. Like, you know, it's just it's always a slow start and it always takes one. But I really feel that this new generation, I feel so aged when I say this, but this new generation of adults who are coming through who are like, all that stuff our grandparents were talking about, all that stuff that our parents were talking about, that's cute, but you know, city girls up 1,000. We're not living this life. Mm-hmm. So I'm not gonna stay in a place where I feel abused. I'm not gonna stay in a place where I'm not happy. I'm not. And I just feel that with our group, if we can sprinkle a little bit of that I'm not, with a little bit of that resilience and that kind of steel toed mentality of those before us, I think we can have a happy mix. I feel that it's going to get worse before it gets better. But if we can really reclaim the fact that y'all can't do what we do. You thought you could, but then you decided to trade in your books, your erasers for a comfy chair and a nameplate. Don't get it twisted. We have to remember we are the need. We are the prize. Like, we are the bad joint in the club. Everybody's trying to get with us. If we keep that bad chick mentality, you know, I think that will prove to be a better school year for others. We don't have to be perfect. Throw out the perfect. You're not going to hit the standards. When you get a walkthrough, they will find something to talk about. When you get your formal assessment, they will have things that you need to fix, even if you don't agree.
Right.
It's be you. Be authentically you, which is not perfect. But be perfect at being yourself. That's it. Like, and that's what I'm choosing. That's the hill I'm choosing to die on. I can't be nobody else but me. And there are some days where I'm not successful with that. But I will be darned if I allow something else, somebody who makes 6 figures, to cause my life havoc. I can't do it.
And the church said, amen.
Hello, pass the plate. Pass it.
Absolutely phenomenal, Jesse. Thanks again. And we'll be seeing you out there.
All right, I hope so.
We'll
Later, guys.
All right. Hey, Brett and I really appreciate you hanging out with us today. We hope this is helpful for you. We hope it helps you reclaim your passion for education one breath at a time. You can find more information about us, the show notes, and some additional resources at educationreclaimed.com.